Hello and welcome to another video review with me, Jamie Balfour04. Today we're going to be looking at the Logitech gaming keyboard G510, which is an illuminated gaming keyboard with a game panel on it. So we're looking at the box just now, and it tells you that basically some of the features that it's got a game panel LCD, customizable backlighting and integrated USB audio. So we're going to have a look at this keyboard. And before we do that, let's just take a quick look around the box. Okay, so on the back you have more pictures of the keyboard, and it describes the monochrome LCD game panel and what it does, and it tells you about the customizable backlighting as well as the integrated USB audio, and the fact that it has 18 programmable G keys. And of course, something that a lot of keyboards don't feature, a lot of gaming keyboards do, but a lot of standard keyboards don't, is full USB support. So USB 2, they use 500 Hz, which is 2 millisecond report rate, and this means everything comes in much faster without delay, but it also means that it can handle more on the signal, so that's a good feature. And it's also got the ability to switch off the Windows key, which is quite a nice, useful feature. So there's the picture of the keyboard with a blue illumination, and also a couple of other products by Logitech that are very similar for gamers. So this is the keyboard out of its box. So as you can see, it's a full keyboard. You've got the LCD up at the top there. It's got 4 buttons as well as a switch button that allows you to switch between it. Over here we have the USB audio and headphone and microphone off buttons, and on to the left of that you've got the Windows switch that turns off the Windows keys and context menu strips. Down to the left hand side of the keyboard you've got the G keys, the macro record button and 3 profiles that you can choose between. That's an important feature that I forgot to mention, is that you've got 3 profiles which you can have 18 keys on, but you can also set up profiles within the game panel that allows you to easily switch between. Over here we've got the volume control, which is this scroll here, which I love, and over here we've got play, stop, next, previous song and next song, and mute. So they're all over there. Up towards here you've got the button that allows you to switch off the brightness, or switch off the illumination altogether anyway. Unlike on the previous keyboard that I reviewed, Logitech Illuminated Keyboard, which is just a general illuminated keyboard, this keyboard can't let you control the brightness too much. In fact, you get no control over the brightness, it's just set. There's only one brightness mode, whereas on the previous there were loads, and it was a lot brighter than this keyboard because this only has one mode. It would have been good if it did have the ability to switch modes and get more brightness, because it is difficult to see the brightness sometimes, and it is a nice feature. It's very nice to see it in red. But anyway, that's the case, unfortunately. So this is it also without the palm rest on it. You can easily attach the palm rest, which sits just there, and then it becomes slightly larger. I also like to make a point about how thick the cable is. It's got a very thick USB cable, which obviously is because and requires a lot of power. Towards the rear of the keyboard you can see that there are the audio jacks that allow you to use them as USB audio. So basically you plug in an analog headset with the headphones and the microphone, and that converts down to a USB signal through the keyboard, which has its own built-in sound card, which is quite a unique feature. You'll see it when you put it into Windows 7 that it comes up as a sound card. Okay, well, as you can see we've got the red design here, but we can simply change the colour by changing the profile, which I've set up to have different colours. So there's green and there's purpley pink. So the reason I've chosen these colours is because they're very bright and obvious, so they're a good choice of colours. However, you can change the colour to whatever you want using the Logitech G series key profiler. So if I just go down to Logitech and then G series key profiler, here in the default configuration I can change the colour to whatever I want. So there's a darker red, there's orange, there's dark blue, and here's light blue. You can also choose custom colours. First let's do yellow. There's yellow. You can do custom colours quite easily by just dragging it across like any other paint application or whatever you use. It's very similar, but we'll put it back to red. So that's how you do it, and it's very nice. You can choose most colours. As I say, it's not as bright as the Logitech illuminated keyboard, which is a bit of a shame. I have to have my blinds shut and my lights off in order to actually see it. I mean, you can faintly see it, it's just like a red glow. It doesn't really illuminate, but anyway, that's how it works. Over here we have the Logitech LCD panel here, and this just has the clock on it just now, but you can alternate through things. I play Command & Conquer 3 quite a lot, and it has got support for Command & Conquer 3. It tells you some things. So there's the CPU and RAM usage. Press again, and there's the profile selector. That's just my tweets. That's a big system panel thing that comes through Windows Sideshow, and that's the weather. And there you go. The keyboard's pretty nice illuminated though. I think it's a very useful feature. I certainly think that without it, it wouldn't be the same keyboard in my opinion. I would not have probably chosen it because I like the illumination, but whether or not you can live with the low illumination or not is a different matter. So this is how you pick a colour. You just use a standard colour picker and you select the colour that you want. So if I were to make it red, that was how I would do it, and it changes the keyboard and how it looks on the keyboard. You can also see in the software that you can very easily set up macros and see what macros are actually set up on this profile and on this application. So it's quite easy to set it all up. Okay, so this is one of my own programs here. So one of the problems I've noticed with the keyboard is that when you do Control V in this program, once you selected the main section and you hold Control V, this is what happens. You get V's. However, switch over to this control and this V obviously, because there is only the one V, and you can continue to hold it down and then it appears. Sure, it's a bit delayed in this, but anyway. So this key over here acts differently to this key over here. Now some say it's because this was more in favour of WASD users, where they would have their right hand on this control key and their left hand on WASD. So rather than using the arrow keys, I'm much more fond of the arrow keys, so I have my fingers here, and that's just general preference. I don't know why, but I tend to use the arrow keys a lot more, and that is one of my least favourite problems with this, because I do not like having to stretch across from Control to V, which is actually all the way over here, so it's quite a long way to stretch. That to me lets it down. Obviously, had it been a mechanical keyboard rather than a membrane keyboard, then that wouldn't be such an issue. But as this is a membrane keyboard, that's one of the issues with it, and sending multiple commands is difficult. So this is me getting into Command & Conquer 3 Tiberium Wars. So it starts off by saying Command & Conquer 3 Tiberium Wars, welcome back Commander. Now, when I start a skirmish, with the new skirmish, I'm going to show you the game panel in the game.
Building.
That's me pressed the G10 key over here, and it's carrying out the instruction of building a crane. Now it tells you how many harvesters you've got, and active units, credits earned, and credits spent.
Construction complete.
So that's all it does really. So most of you will have heard of Fraps, which is an application that allows you to record games, such as Command & Conquer 3. So the great thing about Fraps is that it has a Logitech LCD panel application. So I've got Fraps running in the background, and if I press the button, which you probably can't see very well, but it's just here, this flips between everything on the panel. I click here, Logitech LCD clock. This tells you the CPU RAM usage. This gives you a wee stopwatch and a countdown. And this lets me choose my profiles. This is the current music or video that's playing. This is my Twitter account being fed into here. This is an application that uses Windows Sideshow that tells you a few pieces of information. This is the weather. It's not even in the right place, but oh well. And finally, this is Fraps. This, as you can see, has the Fraps icon at the top, and it's telling me that I'm getting 30 frames per second here. It also draws a graph, which I find very interesting. So one of the really nice features about the keyboard that's very similar with the G510 mouse that I've got over here is that it's got built-in memory. Now it's got 1600 bytes or 1600 bytes of storage on it, which can account for a few profiles, so it's quite handy, and it's really good if you're like me and you switch the keyboard between computers. So they're stored on the built-in memory, and it's easy enough to do. You just drag them from, or actually you just press a button and it switches them over from your default profiles over to the keyboard, and then whenever you go to another computer or whatever, or take the keyboard to a LAN party or whatever, I don't know what you would do, but the built-in memory is there for you, and it's got all the profiles stored. One of the problems with the keyboard is that it's quite expensive, but I had enough Amazon vouchers to spend and I got it for £10, but it's normally £80, so that's the thing. If you're prepared to pay that for a keyboard, that's up to you, but I just would not have paid that had I not had the vouchers, because I had a perfectly good keyboard, but I always had my eyes on a gaming keyboard like this.